Hey, vinyl community, and welcome YouTubers from everywhere. Recent vinyl finds going back to the first of the year. On the left is a huge stack with a large variety of music. On the right is 10 records just got from Rob the Waxed auction. I'm going to go through most of these fairly quick and talk about a couple of them, and I'll guarantee you included in here is not a Beatles, not a Rolling Stones, not a Led Zeppelin, not a Pink Floyd, not a Miles Davis, and not a John Coltrane. So I hope you'll enjoy seeing some records that are a little different than the usual. There was a period here a couple years ago where they had a fake record store day every 2 or 3 months. I never went to a single one of them. I didn't want to be bothered with that silliness. Well, in June of 2022, this record was issued. This record is not very well known, I don't believe, and I think it's because of that kind of messed up record store day. People weren't aware, like me, a lot of people didn't pay attention. Well, I was watching our girl Soul Disco, and she was showing some must-have records, and she showed this one. I checked it out, the original 1972, the 2022 reissue, mastered by Kevin Gray, pressed at RTI, soul, gospel. This record is fantastic. Audiophile record. On Discogs, this particular version is rated 4.74 out of 5. Not many records make it that high. I got this record for $8, sealed. Just ridiculous. A lot of you have been showing the Atlantic reissue stuff. I'm picking up some of them. The Otis Redding Dictionary of Soul, complete and unbelievable. You betcha. Haven't even opened this one up and played it yet. I've picked up so many records here recently. For you jazz bums, wasn't familiar with this record, but a lot of people rated this record so high, I picked up a copy. Spirit Sensitive, Chico Freeman. Haven't opened this one up and played it yet. Been picking up too many records here lately. Now, on my last video that I did, you all will remember this one, Ronnie Barron, Blue Delicacies. I never heard of him before. He is fantastic. In case you didn't watch that, he went to high school with Dr. John. They were friends, and at that time, Ronnie Barron, I would say, was a little more advanced than Dr. John was. He's a great pianist. He grew up in New Orleans. He's a great singer. These records are fantastic, and I was unaware of them, and I think everybody else is. Well, his first record, where he went under the nickname Reverend Ether, Ronnie Barron, 1971, this was his first record. I got this record really clean copy for $15. He only made 5 records. This one on Discogs is graded 4.45 out of 5. How can you have these great records selling for modest prices? Everybody's all after the same old records all the time. I don't understand it. Well, here's another great record. This record was recorded in 1978 in Japan. This is the 2022 Japanese release. Japanese know some great music when they hear it. This record is fantastic. Now, I did have to pay $37 for this one. It's mint sealed. There's that little group. Let's grab another group. A lot of times on Discogs, I'll be ordering a record that I want that nobody else wants, I guess, because they're only $3, $4, or $5. And even with the postage, the seller won't sell for that small of amount. So if I was smart, I would go through the big sellers and pick out several at a time, and I'm starting to do that. But anyway, one of the records I wanted, I saw this record. I'd never seen this record before. I was not familiar with it. Atlantic Rhythm and Blues, 47 to 74. This is number 1 of 7 volumes, and I think these came out on CD first, so they're CD sourced, and then when all of this stuff become popular, they've been reissued, and again, for a fairly modest amount. Another record still sealed. I was watching Mazzy's show Little Richard here a month or so ago. Little Richard, my favorite. I graduated in 1960. In the 1950s, Little Richard was my favorite artist. I did not have this record, and more or less wasn't aware of it. Of course, once you leave high school, you don't keep track quite so tight. I saw this record. I had to have it. There's Tina with a little white face going on. There's Ike with a little white face going on. I'm not going to take this out, but it has a full-length gatefold of Tina looking really sharp. So an OG record, crazy cover, outstanding record. A lot of times I get these records with the idea of doing a video, and I've been thinking about doing a video of Ike and Tina for a long time. I saw them live in Las Vegas in the early 70s. Sidney Bechet, the great soprano sax player. Now, when these records came out in the latter 60s and early 70s, these RCA Vintage series, I picked a lot of them up, but I never had this one. I love soprano sax. Wild Women Don't Have the Blues, Nancy Harrow, another person from 1961. I never heard of this person. I saw this record. I'll maybe show up in a video. I got a big Aretha Franklin collection. I was thinking, she had a birthday recently about doing a video on her and showing lots of records. Well, the 45 singles, the first record she ever made when she was just a teenager, finally came out on vinyl, Songs of Faith, new record, still sealed. Of course, I say still sealed, but a lot of these, I've listened to all of them, on the computer with a good set of speakers I have on each side of it. The legendary Libby Holman Evergreen presents the Ballads and Blues. Come with a nice booklet. Earl Bostic, another important guy from the early days that we hardly ever see, blows the fuse. The Searchers, 1963. This is a 1987 reish. Yeah, love the Searchers. This is more back to my time. And that's a pretty nice little group. Let's grab another batch. Now, I've shown this record before. Swamp Dog. When did this album come out? Don't have the date down. Anyway, this record, new sealed, or new anyway, John Hyatt and Jerry Douglas Band. Great record. These were VCLT from Dallas Open Micro Channel. And one of the ones I got from him, I'm a big early blues fan, and here's Alberta Hunter with a later record on the Columbia, and this record is signed by Alberta Hunter. What a treasure. Duck Baker, hot guitar instrumentals, okay. Haven't listened to this one yet either. I've picked up so many records. I am listening to records. I see this cover. You got to have this cover. This is a one-man band right here, he's playing a trumpet, a guitar, a violin, a piano, and a drum set all at the same time. What a fantastic cover. This is the kind of stuff that makes record collecting fun. I love them gals here. I had this on CD years ago. Marcia Ball, Angela Straley, and Luan Barton. Dreams Come True. This was a good record. Otis Spann, you know, of course, I love the blues, and the piano blues is my favorite part. Otis Spann is the blues. Uncandid. Probably do a big blues video one of these days. I say that's my favorite genre, and then I don't ever show any. I was doing a little research here. I had to order this from the Netherlands to get a really good copy. Lightning Hopkins live at the Bird Lounge in Houston, Texas. But I believe this issue was pressed in the Netherlands and hard to find in the U.S. A piano guy that I knew about but had never really gotten into from the 50s and the 60s, Jack Wellstood, a stride player. He's outstanding. There'll be another video coming. This is the one. It's hard to see anything about him here, but these guys are great players and very clever. Now, what the heck is this record? Well, this record is in Yugoslav. And so when you go to the notes, they're a little hard to read. This is a 1968 issue, but originally, 1957, this record was issued on the Disneyland label. I would call it traditional jazz. You guys might say Dixieland, and it has Dick Wellstood on piano. Great record. Not a bad little group there here. We got one more little pile to go, and then we'll get to the auction records. Mr. Ragtime, Joe Finger's car. His real name was Lou Bush, and in the late 50s, he became the A&R, the head of A&R for Capitol Records, and had held that position for quite a while. So he's a pretty important person in the music business, and of course I'm always wanting to talk about ragtime, and this was from the ragtime renaissance in the 50s. I ordered that record, and the dealer just threw this one in for free. Nice condition. You guys don't know what you're missing. Oh, again, I keep saying, and people keep asking, when am I going to do the Chet Atkins video? Well, I got a good reason to do it now. I got the Chet Atkins White album. Yeah, more about that later. You'll have to watch a video. Thank You, Pretty Baby. Nat King Cole. These are just all really clean records picked up for modest amounts. I probably already had this record, Helen Reddy. I like Helen Reddy. Nobody shows this kinds of records. This is good stuff here. And the last tune is Thank You. Back when she was popping, when this record come out, I had two young teenage girls who loved Helen Reddy, and when we were out on the sailboat, we played cassette tape that I made off of the records, and Helen Reddy was one of their favorites. I told one of my record stores, watch out for Living Stereo Records for me. So they found 3, and they just give them to me. Schumann Piano Concerto, Rubinstein, Cripps, RCA Victor Symphony Orchestra. These records are in nice condition. When you have a good record store, that's the way you get treated. Their kind of customers aren't particularly interested in this. This is one of the all-time great records. Audiophile sound, and I have a lot of Living Stereo. I did not have this record. Thank You, High Tones Record Store. Now, I was over at that particular record store, actually. I bought 2 records. Maybe that's why they gave me these. Here's Esther Phillips, the countryside of Esther Phillips from '66. I've did a video about Little Esther before, but you know, when you get so many records, I got home, already had that record. Carla Thomas, 1969, from doing Memphis stuff. Memphis Queen, turns out I already had that record, so maybe I'll be sending those out in some VCLT one of these days. New record, Bluesville, Lightnin' Hopkins, Walking This Road by Myself. So, may get a little Lightnin' Hopkins video going one of these days. So that's the records that I have picked up since January the 1st. The next group of records here, 10 of them plus one good one. Well, they're all good ones. Got these from Rob the Wax last auction. Highly recommend his auction. It's fun. It's fun participating. He likes to throw in a free record or free records when you order some stuff. Here's a great record I did not have that he threw in along with my purchases, which were always bargain prices. The Drum Session with Paul Humphrey, Shelly Manne, Willie Bobo, and Louis Bellson. Now, he sells all kinds of stuff, not just jazz. Mo-Fi, Raspberry's Best. Couldn't buy it this cheap at a record store. Prestige Moodsville, the Red Garland Trio. Of course, I love those jazz piano players. Here's one he highly recommended, a funk soul record. M. Toomey, not sure what that is, but a promo copy. Pretty scarce record. See, I've barely shown a jazz record so far. I got a steal on this one because I made the minimum bid and no one else bid on it. Well, I'm a motorcycle rider. I raced motorcycles, mostly dirt, off and on, part-time for 10 or 12 years, and actually knew some of the guys in the movie, so I'm happy to have that one. Billie Holiday. I haven't logged these into my Discogs yet. I have a pretty big collection. I may have this one, but just a real nice Columbia in real clean condition for $12. But having fun with the auction. I'll pick it up, and if it turns out I already have a clean copy, somebody else will get that one. Audio Fidelity, one of the first audiophile record labels. Jazz tempo, Latin accents. Can't talk today, folks. $10. Nice clean record, early record, unusual, good music, and these aren't necessarily records I were looking for. Hey, if I can buy a fun record for $10 and participate in an auction, that's a great afternoon. I like guitar too, Barney Kessel. Jazz, contemporary Latin rhythms on reprise. Who knew that he recorded on reprise? I know you rockers are big fans of Lou Reed. I don't have much Lou Reed. It was kind of an era when I was doing other stuff. But there's a 2-record set. Nice clean condition. This one, Record Store Day, limited to 7,000 copies. The voice that is Johnny Hartman. Johnny Hartman, terrific singer. This is Impulse. Good record. Probably what fits in with most of the people in the vinyl community. Supertramp. I have some good Supertramps. I don't know if I had this one. I think I got a poor copy of it, and I had trouble finding a clean copy of this record. Maybe one of Supertramp's best. So here, the nice Mo-Fi VG++ condition. What a fun group of records and a fun afternoon. So that's my recent pickups for the last 3 months. Well, I've bought more stuff from the auction, but those already been put away. So I say keep them spinning and see you all over at the record store.
Happy trail.